Hey everybody, welcome to Mainly Movies. The teaser trailer for Pixar's Soul was released yesterday, and I'm excited to finally check it out. I've actually done my best not to read up on this movie at all, so I really don't even know the basic premise of the story as of right now. Pixar's teaser trailers are usually pretty vague, so I don't think I'll get all that much insight into the story from it, but it's Pixar, so I'm definitely curious. Let's check it out.
What would you want to be known for on Earth? We only have a short time on this planet. You want to become the person that you were born to be? Don't waste your time on all the junk of life. What am I doing? Spend your precious hours doing what will bring out the real you.
This is an interesting animation style for Pixar.
Brilliant, passionate you that's ready to contribute something meaningful into this world. I got the gig. I really need a haircut today, man. Can you fit me in? Whoa, sorry.
And that's a little less interesting.
What the? Hello? So what do you want to be remembered for?
Probably for doing this funny cowboy dance.
Great.
So I like the look of that one. I think it has an interesting premise and a lot of promise to it. I definitely like kind of the first half or first 2/3 of that trailer way more than the ending though. I've never seen that style of the humans and kind of the cityscape. I've never seen that look to a Pixar movie before. And of course we've had cities in previous Pixar movies, right? We had Paris and Ratatouille, we had various cities in The Incredibles, but this is just a more realistic look to a city, and I think that's a really cool thing. Of course, Pixar's animation is always fantastic, so there's no real surprise there, but I thought that was a pretty unique look to it. Until he turns into the soul blob thing. I don't know. I'm assuming he dies because he falls through the manhole or something along those lines. His soul has left his body for some reason, and that kind of took a turn towards something I was a little concerned about, and that is being a little too similar to Inside Out. So this movie is directed by Pete Docter, who also directed Inside Out, as well as Monsters, Inc., both of which are really great movies. But this idea of soul, right, I assumed it was about souls, which it seems to be from the animation towards the end there. And so just like with Inside Out and the feelings in that movie, they're not really tangible things, and so they kind of have to take on this amorphous blobby style to them and kind of be in this weird otherworldly land. And I don't find that quite as interesting, certainly not as interesting as the city that our protagonist is in. So I'm still a little hesitant there. I hope that we get a lot of the human and city style, but I'm kind of imagining that that's mostly going to be a bookend for whatever's going on when he's a soul blob. And so that's kind of unfortunate, but hopefully we get more of that city style, and hopefully it really sets itself apart from Inside Out. Again, great movie, but I want to see something different, right? Something a little bit more unique for Pixar. So speaking of unique, one thing I did kind of notice here was our protagonist. And so I'm trying to think of all of the movies that Pixar's put out that have human characters, right? There's been a number of them, whether they're kind of, minor characters like Andy in Toy Story or Boo in Monsters, Inc., or kind of the primary major character, like in The Incredibles, for instance. All of the movies that have humans, either the main human or one of the main humans is always a kid. And we haven't had just a main human protagonist in a Pixar movie that's an adult. And it seems like that's what's going on here. So that's a unique approach for Pixar. Obviously, this is just the teaser trailer, so that's not to say there isn't going to be some sort of kid that comes into play. Maybe that other soul blob thing he's talking to. It's kind of short, kind of silly, so it might be a kid. But if it isn't, or even if it is, the fact that our main protagonist is just an adult human, that's pretty unique. Because, I mean, even with Inside Out, right? Riley was a kid, and her parents were in it, but she was the main human character. So I think that's going to be an interesting take if that's indeed what they end up doing with this movie. So obviously this is just a teaser trailer. We didn't get too much of the actual story, but I'm definitely liking this one. And I gotta say, of the 2 Pixar movies that are kind of on the slate for next year, I'm really liking this one a lot more than Onward. So those are just my thoughts on the trailer, but what about you guys? What did you think of this? Are you looking more forward to this movie or to Onward for next year? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. Alright, so if you got some enjoyment or insight out of this reaction, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button, and if you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe while you're at it to see more videos like this, as well as movie reviews. Till next time, this has been Alyssa with Mainly Movies, the way life should be.